Hello everyone and welcome to Bladefiles. This is my third vlog, and we're going to be talking about FMA, and distinctly we're going to be talking about some terminology within FMA. Now, if you're a practitioner of FMA or a student or an instructor, or if you're thinking about doing FMA, be warned that within Filipino martial art there is no set terminology. It's a hodgepodge. It can be anywhere from a mixture of archaic Spanish fencing terms and bad Spanish idiom to a mixture of local dialect and bad English. So that being said, I'm now going to narrow our focus here, and I'm going to be talking about, sometimes there's a mix-up in terminology because people don't speak the language within FMA, and one of the terms that is confused is Moro-Moro versus Moro, and we're going to talk very specifically where these terms come from. Now, Moro comes from Moor, and in Spanish it means anybody that's Muslim. And in the southern Philippines, if you're Moro, you come from several different tribal groups within the southern Philippines that adhere to the religion of Islam with, to be quite frank, their own unique regional flair of it, and they have their own fighting arts. Now, in the southern Philippines, the Moro population of the southern Philippines is a minority and rather small, and the percentage of people that actually do Moro fighting arts is even smaller still. That's why these arts have not gained as much notoriety or have not been given as much publicity or are not actually being learned or taught because it's such a small percentage of what's going on. And we're going to talk about those in a minute. Versus Moro-Moro. Now, Moro-Moro or Moro-Moro styles come from a play celebrating the Reconquista, or the reconquest of Spain from the Moors by the Catholic Spanish. The friars in the Philippines introduced these plays just to celebrate this, where you have the victorious Christians defeating the Moors and reconquering Spain or whatever territory that they are supposedly representing in that regard. It's a victory of Catholic Christianity over Islam, essentially, in a political sense. And when you say somebody does the Moro-Moro style of FMA, what they're actually talking about is stage combat based off of whatever that was learned for stage combat. So when they get really low and they do a lot of large movements and other things, a lot of these things are done so you can actually see the person on stage doing these techniques. Now, these fighting arts have nothing to do, and they can be fighting arts, but they have nothing to do with Moro fighting arts. Now, Moro fighting arts can be broken down into two different categories. One is Silat, regional Silat, which, by the way, shares a lot of commonality and common terminology and common movement with Silat from Malaysia and Indonesia as well, and southern Thailand. Silat is all over the region. You also have Kung Tao. Now, Kung Tao comes from the Chinese term Kyun Dao, to do sets, to do Kyun. And southern Philippines and China, as well as the northern and central Philippines, also had a lot of interaction with China and Chinese traders, bringing in steel and trade goods and prestige goods and other things. And the Chinese would see the Filipinos doing their native fighting arts, Silat, and they say, hey, that looks like Kung Tao. And then the Filipinos would say, okay, we'll call it Kung Tao. It can also, and that's also another problem with the terminology in of itself. Is it Chinese influenced or not? Or does it just look like Chinese martial arts? The other one is the fact that Kung Tao also can be Chinese influenced, because people, when they get together and they train and they talk, or if somebody gets into a fight with somebody else, somebody will observe these techniques and will, borrow them and put them into their system. So you have all these things kind of coalescing into one problem of terminology. And there's also Northern Kung Tao as well, but whether or not it comes from older fighting arts or Chinese martial arts or Chinese traders or what have you, that is also in and of itself debatable. So when you look at these things, please make a distinction between Moro fighting arts from the southern Philippines that are still part of the continuum of FMA versus Moro-Moro stage combat, and also look at Kung Tao from the aspect that it could also be Silat, that looks like Chinese martial art, or it could be Chinese-influenced Silat martial art as well. So hopefully that helps in your own exploration of FMA and in your own training, and faith, hope, and love, everybody.